All right, with the new year means we have new legal updates, and I'm going to give you the highlights of them before you take the class so you know what you need to know so that you can stay compliant. So in Legal 2, going into Chapter 2, we're going to sit down and still talk about some of the disclosures that goes on. So we're going to be looking at the IABS, or the information about brokerage services, and that has got to be given every time there's a substantial conversation. But we're actually going to sit down and go through the IABS. So we're going to sit down and talk about what the different types of license holders are in a broker or a sales agent. We're going to talk about the minimum duties required by law of each. We're going to talk about a license holder can represent a party in a real estate transaction and what all that means, as well as what the agent for the seller, landlord, or for the buyer tenant's responsibilities are. We'll also sit down and discuss a lot more about what intermediary is and how that actually works, then wrap that up with some best practices when it comes to the IABS. The other thing the IABS does is it allows for a chain of command, per se, to be given. So if I'm an agent, I have a supervisor, I have a broker, which could be the same or different people, and then I may have a brokerage that's overseeing all of it who may have a different point of contact as well. So if I got hit by a bus and suddenly my client can't get in touch with me, they have on that IABS who else they need to reach out to, who else can help them with their transaction. It all comes down to being transparent so the public isn't being harmed, and should something happen, they know who to go talk to or who the boss may be or who's in charge, so that if they have issues with somebody in that chain of command, they can actually go talk to them and get these things resolved. Then we're also going to dive into the Consumer Protection Notice, which is also a required document to make sure that's out to the public. So we're going to sit down and dive into what each of those aspects actually means and the regulations around what they have to be done and how you can present those. Then we'll actually sit down and go through the complaint process and how to actually sit down and file a complaint, who can file a complaint, and all that goes along with that as well. And then we'll talk about the Real Estate Recovery Trust account, which is there to protect the public should something happen. And if you have a TREC disciplinary issue, it may be that they pay it out of the trust account and you don't get your license back until you actually pay that amount back to the trust. Then we go to the criminal disclosure that goes into our license and what you need to do there. And the broad thing is that if you get arrested and convicted of specific crimes, once that is completed, you have to let the commission know so they can take actions. Not letting them know and them finding out as they run reports, which they do actually run reports that come from the RAP program, which is from the FBI, that they will actually look at that database and find out that you didn't disclose, which will then become an issue. Now, of course, this doesn't cover everything that you would see in Legal 1 and 2 updates, so when you're ready to actually sit down and take the class, feel free to look at the link in the bio. Look at when we have offering those classes next. There's actually, we can sign up to give you guys emails. Feel free to take a look at that, sign up, and if we see you in class, look forward to it, and hopefully the video helped.